Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be working on this Astor JK. It's a pretty simple set, as you can probably not see on the screen over there, but it is in reasonable condition. The case has a largish crack along the bottom of it, in the bottom corner. So along this bottom edge here, but it's underneath, I can actually feel it there. So it's about, maybe 8 centimetres long, 10 centimetres long. This is a fairly basic set. It has volume, has a tone control on the side, and the tuning. So it's only one band. It is 4 valves, it is 5 valves. It has a 5Y3 GT for the rectifier. Then it goes from the aerial, goes 6BE6, 6U7G, another 6U7G, and then the final output is a 6BV7. So it's, very, very basic. It only has a limited number of caps in it, so 2 electrolytics as usual, and 6 paper caps. So we'll have a look inside. I'm not expecting very much from it. It has been butchered a little bit, but does look very nice, and I have a matching radiogram which has a great tuner in it and a not so great turntable at the moment, but it's way too big and heavy to fix here, so I'll have to wait until I get a proper workshop. Anyway, let's get into it, and so it shouldn't take too long, this radio. I won't show you everything, and I'm not going to align it either. So that'll have to wait because the reception here is pretty disastrous because of all the electrical interference. So there must be a big transformer around here somewhere, maybe out in the pole on the corner. But yeah, okay, so let's get into it. I'm rambling on as usual. Okay, let's get started. So somehow or another we've got to take this out of the case or the cabinet. So I assume these just pull off. Yes, so these are pretty flimsy. So I don't want to break these. Rather good. And there's one on the side which I'm not sure this is the tone control on the side. Yes, this is coming off. So this is the tone control, similar arrangement. Probably the original felt too. Okay. This isn't particularly heavy, but it's awkward. So I'm going to have to be very careful when I undo the last one. Okay. And of course it's always the last one, isn't it? It doesn't want to come. Houston, we have a problem. Very sneaky. Very sneaky. So this goes through here and screws into the shafts of the tuning and the volume controls. So, and taking this off doesn't look like it's in very good condition at all. It's had some heat stress there. And it's scratched across there. And yeah. So I might have to reproduce this one and replace the tuning dial. So the next thing we have to do is to disconnect the speaker. There are connections there. Oh, no wonder it hums so much. The speakers are right round the mains transformer. Okay. Let's see if it comes out now. Right. So this speaker looks like it's had a bit of a hard life. So it's a really simple set. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 capacitors, and that's all. Oh, and of course the top one. Okay, let's get started. So we have a 16 there, and I think the hardest part of this radio was getting it out of the case. So that's been replaced. So they've replaced the silver mica ones, but they left the paper caps in there. Okay. Very, very strange. Okay, I'll be back.
Yes, anniversary was a feature?
Yeah, the 50 years anniversary was a bit of a fluke actually.
I say they've been doing this forever, domestically. Top to bottom, their league is legit. I rate this league second after Spain in the world because from 1 to 10, the average winning percentage, now I'm not going to say winning percentage, but point spread. Margin, is 8. What does that mean? Every game's a good game. I done played in tough leagues, EuroLeague teams, where you can sit your imports out and you'll still be the lower team by double digits. What does that mean? That league is not strong. Sit your imports out in this league, see what happens. You lose by 30. Just like they sat Giddy down there, and Giddy them, they lost about 70. That's how valuable he is.
The biggest ever blowout in an NBA game.
I'm trying to tell you.
It's incredible. 73 points.
Well, that is
Well, why wouldn't
1,000 times better.
Who said they didn't act yet?
Right.
COVID jammed up a lot of things. For all you know, imagine this. You have EuroLeague, right? What if you have Pacific League, kind of like Euro?
Well, this is what
leading NBL. Listen to me.
I love that. I love that.
Son, let me just talk. Look at my crystal ball. Nobody tells me nothing, so I don't know.
NDIS support workers said no one deserves to die the way Anne-Marie Smith did. 70-year-old Rosa Maria Mayoni pleaded guilty to Miss Smith's manslaughter after she died last April from severe septic shock, organ failure, malnutrition and other complications from her cerebral palsy. Today, Mayoni's lawyer told the Supreme Court he needed a 2-month delay to get medical tests because his client has issues with smell and taste, which may have impaired her ability to realise putrid conditions Miss Smith was living in. Outside court, Steve Smith says that's a ploy to stretch out the process.
How can't you tell if a person's malnourished, sitting there, NRA filth, rotting away? She didn't deserve this. No one deserves this. And if we can help stop this for another family or another person to go through this, we'll do whatever we can.
Police are investigating how a 3-year-old child was fatally hit by a car in central Sydney this morning. The child was in Glebe when he was struck by a 4-wheel drive being driven by a 34-year-old male. The driver's undergoing mandatory drug and alcohol testing. Detective Chief Inspector Grant Watson says the circumstances surrounding the accident are still unclear.
We are examining the circumstances as to why the child was on the road. He was hit on the road, so at this stage we are looking at the reasons why he may have been out on the road.
Okay, that's replacing the 2 electrolytics, and before it was just totally distorted. It wasn't even worth putting on the camera. It was so bad. So this case is going to be the end of me. But this one is, I don't know whether you can hear that. everything in this capacitor is loose, loosey-goosey. So yeah, and probably the other capacitor was much the same, I would say. Okay, I'm going to go through and replace the rest of the paper caps, and we'll be back. It's all back together again, sort of, without the case. So it does work pretty well. It's only got a short length of wire on it. And it sounds much better than what it did. So we're on news radio.
And that includes senior ministers in the shadow civilian National Unity government and several high-profile pro-democracy activists declaring.
So this is the tone control.
Have been cancelled.
The following ordinary Myanmar passports have been declared null and void. The embassy, therefore, would like to request to consider the above-mentioned passports as cancelled.
So it's got its highs back.
Safe. Number 2 Aspara, the favourite 2-6. Opens in 23.
Three regimes trying to say
You'll be back in Melbourne. So we could have...
The productions went into voluntary liquidation.
I think making the trip there from the...
Okay, so it's all good. So I'll put it back in its case or cabinet, and we'll be back. This radio literally took about 5 minutes to put back together again, after taking maybe 20 minutes to take it apart. But so it was really easy once I worked out that there is screws, or I don't know what they would be called, they're those Bakelite things behind the main knobs. And the other hard part of getting it out was getting the screw out of the base. So let's turn it on and see if it works. I'll move the microphone around a little bit. Oh, we should put an aerial on it, shouldn't we? So that's the old 3XY, now a Greek station. Or is it Italian? Can't remember. That's Deadly, the Aboriginal station. Magic again.
Ολοκληρώνουμε για σήμερα τις διαδρομές μας στα μονοπάτια του
SBS.
τραγουδιού.
στην οποία ενότητα
Tournament. He was always trying to get better, and I think that's the key with him.
News radio.
He's never really rested.
ISV Bendigo Spirit, Battle of Victoria, and then Sydney Uni Flames.
Some racing station.
Now it's day 14-day quarantine will be enforced for those entering the state. David Mark says any changes to the schedule will have an array of pros and cons.
Well, it should be stated, I suppose, Roz, that Perth is still holding the...
Sorry, the other one...
Until it isn't. And obviously...
The other one was Radio for the Print Handicapped.
To come into the state to do
RPH.
14 days quarantine. And Cricket Australia and the broadcast...
This is News Radio.
...made it pretty clear that that's not going to be happening. So...
Tommy Endo's come down from $9.50 to $7. Snap top
Wait for that
11.
car to go past.
Force 11.
Bastards.
So almost every runner in this race is given a winning.
Hopefully everyone enjoys National Disability Day. Time to wrap up. You'll be listening to Racing the Horses on 3CR. I'll put the listening to
It's 3CR. Which you don't normally get out here very clearly.
Well, out of 10, Sharad? I'm not going to spoil anything, but 9.5. If not, I have to wait 2 years more for the next one.
That's ABC Melbourne.
In the bin loose, not in bags. Items in plastic bags don't get recycled because they can't be sorted. When you put your recycling in the bin loose, it can be turned into new products. Learn more at sustainability.vic.gov.au. Authorised by the Victorian Government, Melbourne.
That's 3AW with with actually a bit of a tip there that I've not realised, that you need to separate your recyclables, not put them in a plastic bag, because they don't pull them out the plastic bags.
10 kilo front load washing machine plus 8 kg.
More available. That quantum computing could be good for everyday life.
That's 3AR or Radio National.
I want to see what a quantum computer can do with
Used to be able to get 7BU here, but yes. So there's an awful amount of electrical noise in this place, unfortunately. I can't do very much about it. Okay, so that's the end of this video. I'll wrap it up now and see you next radio.